What's your advice to people today, or young people who want to get into coding? Is there any or development? Let's say their dream is to work for a company like Microsoft. Do you have any recommendations of things to do, programming languages? You've been down this road, many, many years of experience. What's your advice to younger people or someone who wants to start out?
Yeah, my recipe today is different than it would be 20 years ago. I think today I would focus on being really proficient in Python, not because you're going to write products in Python, but it's just such a functional tool for what developers do all day long that I think knowing it and being proficient in it is pretty much essential. And then from there, you want to be writing in a language like C++ or even C#. I suppose Java, depending on the industry you want to get into, but those would be the big three. And once you've developed proficiency in those, I think if I'm a hiring manager and you're talking to me, my first question is going to be, well, do you have any code on GitHub that I can go and look at? So I think contributing to open source projects and biting off big chunks and doing important pieces of multiple different projects goes a long way to show both your ability and your flexibility.
Yeah, so in other words, it's important to show your work, right? And put it on GitHub.
Yeah, that's something. Now, I have autism, and that's something that I coach people that have Asperger's and autism to do, which is to sell their work and not themselves, because they may not shine at the personality level in an interview, regardless of how technical and brilliant they may be. So for some folks, and myself included, I think it's easier to focus on what can I actually do for you as opposed to how wonderful of a person am I. Not that they're not wonderful people, it just doesn't come across all the time.
I just wanted to say, at the end of the day, when you have someone writing code, you're not there. You've been in the games. You correct me if I'm wrong. But if you want someone to write good code, that's their job. Their job is not to be like a salesperson. It's a different type of role, different kind of skill set, right?
Yeah, it very much is. I was somebody who remained an individual contributor for as long as I could because I got in it because I love code and I love coding. I didn't grow up saying, I wish I could go to a lot of meetings. So I didn't really push that hard in my career for that. There's sort of an inexorable draw towards management as you go through any career, I think. And the bar is probably a little lower when you're managing people than trying to just survive by your own technical merits. So it's an easier path for some folks. But I always wanted to code. And so I still code most of the day today. Even though I've been retired for 20 years, I'm still sitting in my shop and studio here coding in C++ because it's what I love to do. So
yeah, you said it offline. We didn't record that. You finished at Microsoft 2003 timeframe, right?
Right. I was there until 2003 was when I left.
But you're still coding till today. In other words, you've got this love for coding since a young age, and you haven't stopped.
Yeah. After I retired, I spent a couple of years doing 3D graphics and learning everything that starting kind of where I left off in college, and then building with DirectX and Direct12 through some fairly complicated graphics, just to get my feet wet and to understand that because it's an important area. And I've done a bunch of database work, and I've done a bunch of work in areas that I'm not super comfortable in order to expand my skill set.